Hello, happy Tuesday? Nope, that's not the day. It's Monday. It's difficult to keep track of what day it is when you've been self-isolating for 5 days. Happy Monday. Here we go. So today's practice is going to concentrate on the pause. This entire situation is quite a pause on a massive scale for the world. And if you haven't done any work with sitting in stillness, any sort of meditative work, yoga, mindfulness, there is so much to be learned. There is such a beautiful opportunity here right now to cultivate a strength in sitting with what is. And so today's practice will have relatively simple moves, but we'll be holding them for longer periods of time. So it may seem more difficult. If for any reason you're feeling like it is too difficult, come out of the pose. Always treat yourself with love and compassion and allow yourself to move however feels right for you. What feels right for my body is going to feel different for yours and the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. So honor yourself always. But let's really try and sit in that pause. And if you are coming out of the pose before I guide into the next transition, then stay for a beat longer than your brain wants you to. Just see what happens. And we're simply existing and noticing and seeing what comes up. And we're not letting those strong emotions direct us to the next thing. We're just noticing them. So throughout the day, when anxiety and frustration and stress and irritability and all of these things come up, can we pause, notice them, and not let them dictate the next step? Let's try. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start out on our backs. Feet can be flat on the floor, knees up towards the sky, feet are about hips distance apart. Take your hands onto your belly. Close the eyes gently, and we begin by coming to the breath. In through the nose, and let's sigh out through the mouth. Let's do that twice more. In through the nose, heavy sigh out the mouth. Again, in through the nose. Fill all the way up this time. Sip in a little more air at the top and hold it. And a heavy sigh out the mouth. Now let's come to breathing in and out the nose. Soft, smooth breath, controlled, both inhale and a controlled exhale. Notice if the mind is spinning a little bit. Often at the beginning of practice, the mind has more going on, and we'll use the practice as a way to train it. Even here, notice if you are anxious to get going. Give yourself this time, this pause right here, to be present with your breath, to be present with yourself and your mind, noticing the thoughts but not clinging to any one of them. Hug the right knee into the chest. We're going to open the leg out to the side. The knee remains bent, the hip opens to the side, and the leg is supported by the right hand. Hug Hug the knee back through center and extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Hands behind the hamstring. Press through the heel. Point the toes. Press the heel. And you can have a soft bend in the knee here if the leg isn't straight. If it's too tight in the hamstring, the knee can be bent. The objective is not to get the leg straight, it's to stretch the back of the leg, the hamstring, the calf. So if you feel the stretch, you're doing it right. And then we're going to take this into a figure 4. So you're going to cross your ankle over your knee, keep the right foot flexed. That's the heel that is on top of the knee. That foot stays flexed. And then maybe this is plenty for you and you can stay here. Otherwise, you're going to take your right hand through the hole that is made by the right leg and the left leg. And then you're going to take the left hand around the outside of the left thigh, interlacing the hands behind the left hamstring, and then hugging the leg closer to the body. That right foot stays flexed, the shoulders move away from the ears. And we breathe here. In through the nose, out through the nose. Release the hands. Bring the left foot onto the mat. Extend the right leg up. And then bend the knee. Release the foot onto the mat. Deep breath here into the belly. Full controlled exhale out the nose. Hug the left knee into the chest. Open the hip out to the side. Left leg is supported by the left hand. Soft face, soft brow. Bring the knee back through center. Take the hands behind the hamstring. Extend the leg up towards the sky. Knee can be bent. Again here, flex through the foot. Press the heel. And then point the toes. Reach through the toes. And then again, flex the toes back towards the face. Heel pressing up towards the ceiling. Away from the body. Breathing. The hamstring presses into the hands, the shoulders fall away from the ears. As you bend the knee, you cross ankle over knee, figure 4 on the left side. Hands come through and around the right leg, bringing the right knee closer to the body, keeping the left foot flexed. Breathing here. Deep breaths into the belly. Controlled exhales out the nose. Notice the mind. Release the clasp from behind the leg. The right foot comes onto the mat. The left foot extends up towards the sky, releasing the foot down onto the mat. Bring a little movement, more movement into the practice. Feet are hips distance and parallel. Heels press into the mat, belly button pulls to the spine. We're going to press into the forearms that are beside the body as we lift the hips up towards the ceiling, bridge pose. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, press into the feet, press the hips up. Exhale, lower it down. Notice if your glutes are taking over this pose, let them relax by pressing more into the heel of the foot. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Press into the heel. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Hug the knees into the chest here. Curl the head towards the knees. Take the hands behind the head. Extend the elbows out far away from the body. Extend the legs up towards the sky. We'll breathe here for 2 rounds of breath. If you're shaking, that's right. And then lower the legs halfway. And we'll breathe here for 3 rounds. Try and press the low back down onto the mat. If this is too much, you can bend the knees. Elbows stay wide, collarbone is wide, shoulders are lifted. And then we'll lower down halfway again. 3 breaths. Hug the knees in, curl in like a little cannonball. And then release the feet down onto the mat, arms reach out. Let the knees fall over to the right. And then switch sides, the knees fall over to the left. Simple twist here. Back through center, hands behind the hamstrings. Let's rock forward and back. And we'll come up and over onto our hands and knees, coming into a tabletop position in the middle of the mat. Hands line up underneath the shoulders. Hips line up over the knees. So as you root down into all 10 fingertips, press especially into between the thumb and index finger, that fleshy part of the hand. Trying to stay a little lighter on the outside of the wrist. The pinky edge, that little nub right there, we want it to be lighter on the mat. Bend the elbows, press into the floor and scoop the elbows towards one another. Extend the right leg back, press through the heel, extend the left leg back, press through the heel. Here we've got the inner thighs rolling up towards the sky as we press the floor away, draw the heart forward. Chin is lifted, head is not hanging, so the crown of the head is reaching forward. You're looking at the top of the mat. Plank pose, we're breathing here. Pressing through the heels, strong legs. If this is too much, you can come down onto your knees, this modified plank. Breathing here. And slowly, press into the hands, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a look back. Make sure your feet are hips distance apart. Press the heels down as the hips lift up. Elbows scoop towards one another again here. Belly button to spine. Breathing. Inhale high onto the toes. Exhale, press the feet down. And 6 inches at a time, we're going to walk the hands back. So 6 inches, shorter down dog. And you can begin to bend the knees here if the backs of the legs aren't quite so open. Keep pressing into all 10 fingers, breathing here. 6 more inches back. Bending the knees whenever that's needed, 6 more inches. Letting the head hang. We're moving towards a forward fold at the back of the mat. 6 more inches. And then maybe you're at your feet. Outer hips hugging, head hangs, inner thighs rolling to the back of the body. Let's inhale, hands onto shins. Bring the heart forward. Ardha Uttanasana, flat back, belly button pulls in. Breathe here. Inner thighs continue to spiral back. Heels are in line with the second and third toe. One more inhale long. Exhale, fold in. Deep bend to the knees. Slowly allow the back to stack one vertebrae at a time, rolling the body up, coming to standing. The head will be the very last thing to get up to the top. Crown of the head lifting up, feet rooting down. Tailbone descends, low abs pull in and up. Let's sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, soft knees, strong legs, fold forward. Inhale, heart lifts halfway. Exhale, walk out, downward facing dog. Breathing here. Hips pressing up and back. Lift the right leg up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, float forward. One-legged plank. Pressing the floor away, hugging the knee in. Try and get the heel close to the butt. Look forward. Step the foot between the hands. If it doesn't quite get there, then it's back here. Grab a hold of it. Step it forward. Wide stance. Walk the right foot out to the right more. Left foot can move to the left slightly. Having a wider stance builds our foundation and gives us more stability. Heavy in the heel of the right foot. Right outer hip, hug it in. Soft bend in the back knee. Engage the core. We're going to lift the torso off the front leg and reach the arms back. Breathing here. Keep correcting those hips towards the midline. Then bend the back knee, upright the torso. Sweep the arms up. Hands can come to the heart here. Soft bend in the back knee so we can get the pelvis upright. Frontal hip points pulling up, tailbone directing down. Front heel presses to the mat. Breathing here. Press into the pinky toe of the left side. Sweeping the arms up. Slowly on the exhale, bring the hands to the mat. Strong back leg. Step the front foot back. We're in plank or modified plank. I'll show you how modified plank looks as we lower. As you lower, belly button pulls to spine. We come down halfway. Elbows are at 90 degrees, pinching in towards the mid-body. And then lower all the way down. Uncurl the toes and press the tops of the feet down. Hands line up underneath the shoulders. Press the pelvis towards the earth and peel the heart up. Low belly's engaged here, protecting the low back. Shoulders moving away from the ears. Breathing here. In and out through the nose. One more inhale. Exhale, lower. Walk the hands back, right beside your chest. Tuck your toes. We're going to press up to that modified plank. Pressing up, engage the core. Straighten the legs, full plank. Lift the hips up and back. Breathing here, down dog. You're always welcome to advance the poses, scale them back. Keep breathing here in down dog. So when we're in modified plank, you're welcome to keep the knees off the mat and just stay in regular plank and do a full chaturanga, which I will demonstrate next. Or if your body's telling you no plank, no chaturanga, none of it, skip it all. Stay in down dog. Taking it to the left side. Left leg reaches up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, pressing the floor away. Belly button's pulling in and up. Breathing here. Elbows still scoop towards one another here, and heel is moving towards the butt. Look forward. Step your foot through. Walk your left foot out to the left. The right foot moves to the right. Press into the heel of the left foot. Hug the outer hips towards one another. Belly button pulls to spine, collarbone gets wide. Get light on the fingertips, like you're on a runner's block here, or like the diver's platform, I believe. Engage that low belly. Extend the arms back.
Keep pressing into the heel of the front foot. Palms face down here. Collarbone gets wide. Breathing. Maybe you play with bringing the arms forward. Bend the back knee, upright the torso. Hands come to the heart. Breathe here. You can take your hands onto your hips and notice if the right hip is slumped lower than the left. We want to engage that outer left hip, hug it into the midline so that we can get the hips equidistant from the floor. Belly button pulling in and up, tailbone descends. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. And slowly on the exhale, folding forward. Strong back leg to root you. Hands come to the mat. Step back. So here's the options. Modified plank, full plank, or you can sit back on your heels. So I'm showing full plank this time to chaturanga. Press into all 10 fingers, engage the core. We come forward on the balls of the feet and lower halfway. Elbows at 90 degrees, and then lower all the way down. Press into the pelvis, inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale, lower it down. Tuck the back toes, press into the hands, come all the way up, downward facing dog. Breathing here. 5 rounds of breath. In and out through the nose. Feeling this gentle pause here. Maybe closing the eyes. Inhale high onto the toes, blink the eyes open. Looking forward, let's walk the feet to the hands. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold in. Sink the hips, lift the heart. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands to the heart. Holding here. Smooth inhales, smooth exhales. Belly button to spine. Weight is in the heels. Tailbone descends as if you're about to sit down in a little chair. Press into the feet, come up to standing. Inhale, lift long. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, straight into down dog. Last standing poses. Right leg lifts up and back. Step the foot through between the hands. Seal the back heel down. Slight angle here. We're coming into warrior 2. Press into the heel of the front foot. Hug the outer hip in and under. Split the arms. I'll face this way so you can see. Warrior 2. The left hip hugs forward slightly. The right hip pulls back. The chest is parallel to the edge of the mat. Reach out through the fingertips. Breathing here. Maybe close the eyes. Inhale here. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Come onto the back toes, step the front foot back, downward facing dog. Left side, left leg reaches up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, stepping the foot through to the hands. Seal the back heel down, slight angle. Heavy in the heel of the left foot, left hip hugs in and under. Engage the core, fire up that back leg, really root it down, and then upright the torso. Extend the arms long. Again, the back hip comes forward slightly, the front hip pulls back. and the chest comes parallel to the edge of the mat. The gaze is out over the left fingertips. Breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe you close the eyes. Be present with the pause. Strong back leg. Front inner thigh rolls to the outer thigh. One more inhale. Keeping the eyes closed this time. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Come onto the back toes. Step the front foot back. Come into downward facing dog. Eyes are still closed. And then the knees come to the mat. Big toes touch. Child's pose. Forehead lands on the mat. And we pause here. Pause and breathe. Come to the breath. Feel as the air comes in through the nostrils, across the back of the throat, behind the heart, filling the lungs. Follow the same path as it exits. In and out. Smooth breaths like the ocean. Flowing in, flowing out. Appreciating the pause here. Gently press yourself back up through seated. Swing the legs around. We'll lower onto our back and begin to cool down. Feet are wide, knees knock towards one another. Hands onto the belly. Smooth inhales, soft exhales, controlled on both ends. As we pause in the poses, sometimes the difficulty of the physical practice seems to want to dictate how the breath moves. And just like we don't allow our difficult emotions to dictate the next step, we don't allow the difficult poses to dictate how the breath moves. Hug the knees into the chest. The knees are going to fall over to the right side, and we're going to scoot the hips towards the left, coming into a spinal twist. You can cross the left leg over the right if you'd like, or you can just leave it in this simple knee stacked. You can stretch the left arm out and maybe gaze over towards the left side. If that's all too much, you can keep the gaze up towards the ceiling, and you can bring the left arm onto the body, along the left side body. Just try and twist the chest towards the ceiling. Find what's right for you. You know your body. Allow yourself to honor that, what feels right. Let's come through center, switching sides. Knees fall to the left, hips move to the right. Extend the right arm out. Maybe the gaze comes out to the right, maybe it's up towards the ceiling. The breath is smooth, controlled. And back through center. Hug the knees into the chest. Extend the legs out long. Palms face up, the collarbone spreads wide. Coming into Shavasana.
allowing the breath, any control that is being had over the breath, allow that to fall away. And this will be our longest pause. Keep following the path of the breath. Noticing when the mind wants the attention to shift. Noticing when it succeeds in shifting the attention away from the breath, and gently offering compassion towards that human part of ourselves, and guide it back to the breath. I invite you to finish out your practice at your own pace, enjoying this pause, listening to your body, and taking this practice of sitting in the pause, taking that with you off the mat. How can I allow this to show up for me in my life right now? Right now. Namaste.